Welcome, folks, to another episode of the Kitchens of Ken, and you are in luck. And the reason is California salmon season is back. It's been away for 2 or 3 years just because, well, there wasn't enough fish to catch. Well, now it's back. It's in limited supply right now, but as we progress through the summer, there'll be a little bit more for you to find. I'll tell you about that in just a minute. But first, I want to tell you about California King salmon. Look at this for a minute. Now, do you see the color of this salmon? This isn't like that farm-raised stuff that you find in most supermarkets. This is top quality salmon that is just intensely flavorful. It is beautiful fish. And as I said, it's available now. Now, it's only available in a few markets. And the reason is there's not much to go around at first. It should get more plentiful by midsummer. But right now, you can only find it in the seafood markets and the higher-end grocery stores, but take a look for it. It's well worth it. Today, I'm going to show you 3 ways to cook it, plus maybe a little bonus way at the end. The first way is just classic, and I've got this right here. This is classic grilled salmon. Now, all I've done here is put on some basic spices on here. I put a little herbes de Provence, some salt, pepper, and also one of my favorite spices. It's called sumac, and sumac is an Indian spice that imparts a very tart, almost lemony flavor. You can see it here. It's very, very red, and it is wonderful. And folks, I got to tell you, this stuff and salmon are like best friends when you put this on here because of the tart, lemony flavor to it. It is wonderful. So that's one way. Just simply grill it. Go ahead and put that. You can do it on the grill outside. You can do it as I did with this. I used a grill pan, or you can even put it on the broiler. Only takes, maybe about 5 minutes per side. One thing you do not want to do is overcook salmon, especially California King salmon. You want to have it just a little bit of moisture in the center, and that will give you just this wonderful, rich flavor. Now, here's another way I like to do it. This is actually one of my favorite ways. It is so easy. It's great for entertaining because you could kind of prep it ahead. And that is this. Here's the finished result of this. And let me show you this here. All I've taken are some breadcrumbs, but not really breadcrumbs. I use Mrs. Cubinson's. And what I do is I take Mrs. Cubinson's pre-seasoned dressing mix that you can find just about anywhere in any supermarket, and I go ahead and I just kind of whirl that a little bit in the food processor. Now, it already has seasoning in it. That's what I love about this. And it just goes great. Don't just use it for your standard stuffing next to your turkey. Use it for all kinds of purposes, and I use this all the time. And I'm going to show you how I did that. Go ahead and I take what was the Mrs. Cubinson's dressing, and I put them in the food processor, and I just give them a little whiz in there to turn them into breadcrumbs. Then you add just a little bit of salt in there, a little bit of pepper, and any other kind of spice that you want. What really gives it the flavor, though, is fresh orange zest. This is probably the most important thing. You can use lemon zest, and you could use lime zest if you want, or all 3. So you just go ahead and do that. You stick that in there. Maybe about a half an orange. In fact, the amount I'm making here is probably for 2 good-sized pieces of salmon. You want maybe about 1/3 of a cup of the mixture per fillet of salmon. Then you add a little bit of oil. I like to use grapeseed oil because it doesn't add a lot of flavor. Obviously, olive oil would be great. You go ahead and mix that up. You get that pretty darn moist, just like this. And then you just go ahead and spoon it on the salmon as such and pack it down. That's important. Just go ahead and you cover the whole salmon. And then again, you can top it with any herbs or anything else you like. This is when I add that sumac. I put a little bit of that on the top. Now, let me put this aside and show you another way, especially for the summertime. I already told you about the grilled salmon that I just did. Well, I always like to grill off an extra piece, as I did here. And what I do, I just take this off. By the way, when you're grilling salmon or chicken or anything like that, and you go to try and take it off and it sticks a little bit, you know what it's telling you? It's not ready to come off yet. Once you get the nice grill marks on there and it forms little crusts, that salmon will come right off. And that's what you need to learn when you're doing delicate things like fish and also poultry especially. So you just go ahead and you flake a little bit of this off, We don't need the skin, so I'm going to put that aside there. And you break this up. This is for, obviously, a wonderful, quick salmon salad. Now, you can do it chunky or however you like. Go ahead and I add a little bit, let me get my spoon here, a little bit of mayonnaise, like this, and a little bit of Morehouse mustard impacts a nice tart flavor to it. And then as far as herbs go, I like to put in a little basil that I simply crush up, keep it nice and chunky, along with some nice lemon thyme. You just go ahead and you strip it off like this. I grow lemon thyme in my backyard, and believe me, lemon thyme and salmon are wonderful. Then you just go ahead and mix this up like so, and you've got a wonderful salmon salad. If you want, you can take this a step further, and this is that fourth way. Putting it in a food processor, you could mix it up with cream cheese. You could also do Greek yogurt, and you could form a nice hors d'oeuvre spread that you could put on crackers. So this wonderful salmon, let me take this out so you can get another look at this here. The grilled salmon, probably my favorite way to have it. And along with that, some Mrs. Cubinson's wonderful stuffing. And I use the stovetop method to make the stuffing this time. And that information is right on the side of the box. If you don't want to do the long cooking method, it is right here. And of course, using the Mrs. Cubinson dressing that I put in the food processor to form nice breadcrumbs here. And you can have it this way, get a nice crust on your salmon. It's absolutely wonderful. So there you have it. 4 ways to do California king salmon. As I said, it's in limited supply right now. It should come available a little bit more as we get into midsummer. It is wonderful. Folks, eat the real stuff, not that farm-raised junk, all right? Go with the real stuff. I'll see you later.